Hi guys, I'm Kurt Bowman. Today we're going to do a yoga workout for sure. A little bit more challenging, but it'll be, I don't even know, it'll probably be 30 to 40 minutes, but it's all the bases, and we're going to really try and open up those hips today as well. So let's get started in a comfortable seated position. And again, comfortable is wherever you can sit with your spine straight. Whether your legs are out in front of you or not, it doesn't matter. But sit as straight as you're able. Pretend that your head is being gently lifted. Get everything in alignment. And just take a few seconds, maybe the first few seconds that you've had today, to just take a deep breath in. When able, always breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Breathing in. Exhale. Drop your fingers to the mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Drop your left fingers to the mat. Lean into your left side. Open the chest up. Don't cave into your knees. Open the chest up. Maybe exaggerate your right shoulder back a little bit. Lean into your left ribs. Breathe into your right ribs. If you're able, point that right elbow to the ceiling. Come back up into center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to the right. Point that elbow to the ceiling. Breathe into those left ribs. Come back into center. Failed to mention when we started, today towards the end, if you have a block, if you have a pillow, if you have a little cushion, if you have a roller, foam roller, we're going to use something like that at the end. So if you want, go ahead and hit pause now and go find those. Let's come back into your seated position. Take your left leg out in front of you. Bring your right foot up and over your left thigh. Pull that left knee into your chest. Sit up straight. You feel that little bit of a pull in your right glute. And as you're holding that knee as close to your torso as you're able, just twist open to the right. Drop that back shoulder. Come back into center. Bring the right leg out in front of you. Pull that, or bring the left foot up and over the right thigh. Pull the knee into the chest. Sit up straight and twist open to the left. Almost in every twist we do from the waist up, it should be opening your torso and not twisting with your eyes. If you're just twisting with your head and your eyes, it's a little bit deceptive on the body. Always try and twist with the torso. Come back to center. Extend the left leg again. Bring the right foot over. And just if you're able, don't hold yourself up. Obviously, if you're able, you can lay your chest down right on top of your knees. If you're holding your breath, hoping I can do that, don't hold your breath. Back up in the center, right. Bring the right or the left foot over the right thigh and drop your left knee. Lean out over your right leg. Come back into center and roll onto all fours. Hips over knees, shoulders over wrists, back is straight, neck is in line. Inhale, drop the pelvis first, drop the abdomen, bring your head and neck up, and we're going to breathe into what's called cow. Take a breath, push up one vertebrae at a time. Coming into cat, let your head and neck be the last thing to go down. Inhale, drop your pelvis, let your abdomen, bring your head and neck up into cow. Roll, push up into cat. One more time. Inhale into cow. Last time, pushing up into cat. Bring your big toes together, knees apart. Push back into child's pose. Let your neck and head just relax. Drop them down. Walk your fingers further away from your body. Come back into all fours. Curl your toes under. Push back into downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Forward fold. Let your head and neck hang. Walk your hands out into high plank. Now walk your feet up to your hands. You're at the front of your mat, forward fold. Let your head and neck hang. Put a slight bend in your knees. Grab your elbows and just sway gently side to side. Let your arms hang. Continue just to sway side to side. Come into halfway lifted, straight spine, forward fold, and roll up into mountain. Again, shoulders up, back, down, squeeze the blades together, turn the palms forward, take a deep breath in through the nostrils. Exhale. Inhale, arms overhead. Turn your biceps in towards the ceiling, hands towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Come into high plank. Elbows to the side. Lower slowly into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Left foot up forward. Drop your back foot for warrior 2. Warrior 1, let's do warrior 1 first. Drop your back foot. Come into warrior 1. Biceps towards the ceiling. Pivot into warrior 2. This first one, let's take an alignment check. Is your front heel pointed towards the middle of your back foot? Arms out. The biggest thing in warrior 2 is to open up that torso. The arms are just gravy. It's the twist of the torso where you're at. Look out over your front fingers. Drop your back hand, reverse warrior. Come back into warrior 2. Drop your front elbow. Come into side angle. First, put your hand down on your hip and focus on getting your shoulder back, your back against that back wall. Open up the chest. Now bring the hand up and over. Fingers in alignment with your heel. Come back into warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. Pivot forward over your waist. Drop your front hand. Open up your torso. Triangle pose. It does not matter how low your front hand is, as long as you're opening up your torso. If you can touch the ground, great. But if you're touching the ground and your torso is closed into the floor, not good. Come back into warrior 2. Windmill your hands to the floor. Come into high plank. Push back into downward dog. Look between your hands. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. Roll up into standing. Shoulders up, back, and down. Mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Biceps turned in towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, come into high plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Right leg, three-legged dog. Right foot forward. Drop the back foot, come into warrior 1. Turning your palms and biceps to the ceiling. Raise your arms. Come into warrior 2. Do your alignment check. I like to turn my back palm to the ceiling. Open up my shoulders. Drop your back hand. Reverse warrior. Drop your front elbow. Put your hand on your left hand, left hip. Open up your back first. Get your neck against the back wall too. Now raise your left hand overhead. Come back into warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. Tick-tock over your belt line. Come into triangle. Open up your torso, back and neck are against the wall. Come into Warrior 2. Windmill your hands to the floor. Come into high plank. Push back into downward facing dog. Look between your hands. Step or hop to the front of your mat, or both. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. Roll up to standing, mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Let your head hang. Inhale, halfway lifted. Step back into high plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. Roll up to standing. I think I skipped a whole bunch of stuff there. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Come into high plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Left foot forward. Drop the back foot. Come into Warrior 1. Pivot into Warrior 2. Check your alignment. Drop your back hand, come into Reverse Warrior. Warrior 2. Left elbow, left knee. Right hand to your waist. Now bring your right arm up, side angle. Come into Warrior 2. Straighten your front leg. Tick-tock over your front. Come into triangle pose. Warrior 2. Hands to the mat. Come into high plank. Push back into downward facing dog. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. Roll up into mountain. Take a pause. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Come into high plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg, three-legged dog. Right foot forward. Drop the back foot, come into Warrior 1. Pivot into Warrior 2. Check your alignment. Drop your back hand, Reverse Warrior. Come into Warrior 2. Right elbow, right knee, left hand on your left hip. Open up your torso, get your head, neck in alignment. Bring your left arm up over into side angle. Come into warrior two. Straighten that right foot, right leg. Pivot down, drop your right hand. Come into triangle pose. Come into warrior two. Hands to the mat. Push back into downward facing dog. Take a breath. Left leg, three-legged dog. Bring your left knee up by your left wrist. Now take your left foot, bring it forward as much as you're able without tweaking your left knee. If you're feeling any pain in this right now, stretching is okay, but pain is not good. If you're feeling any pain, you can do the modified version of pigeon, where I'll show that very quickly. That is a come onto your back, bring your left ankle up over your left or right knee, and pull back onto your right knee. But for those who want to do pigeon, left knee, left wrist, and point your right toes away from your body. Get your right leg as stretched away from the body as possible. Now right here in this position, you should start to feel that left glute, left thigh start to open. A little bit of a pull there. If that's where you're at today, stay right here. If you're able, bring your elbows down to the mat, and furthermore, if you're able, bring your forehead down to the mat. This is probably one of the best exercises for me to open up my hips. And you've maybe heard me say this more than once before. If you want your lower back to loosen up, if you want your lower back to stop hurting, open up your hips. Get your hips loose. And amazingly, your back will feel better. Barring, of course, you have any mechanical issues with your spine in terms of damaged cartilage or disc or vertebrae. Start to walk your fingers back up. Come into downward facing dog. Get that left leg up behind you. Shake it out into three-legged dog. Come into downward facing dog again. Take a breath. Right leg, three-legged dog. Right knee, right wrist. Bring that right foot forward. Here's probably the biggest thing, is to move that left leg straight and left toes further away from the body. Because the more you're able to do that, the lower you will get to the ground. Come into folding forward as much as you're able. Looks like we have a bit of a rain delay here. All right, come into, bring your right knee, right wrist. Sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of a rain delay. Had to start again in pigeon on the right side. Come up, move your left foot further away from your body. Get your toes pointed away from the body. And again, the more you can point your back toes and get them further away from the body, the lower you're going to get to the ground and the more you're going to feel the stretch. If this is where you're at today in terms of getting your forehead on the mat, that's fine. Come down, if you can, come down onto your elbows or forehead on the mat. Wherever you're at, the whole purpose is to stretch that hip. Because again, the better you can stretch your hips, open them up, the less your lower back is going to hurt. Go ahead and start walking your fingers back up. Come into upper position. And come down to your mat. Actually, let's come into downward facing dog and stretch out that right leg. Sorry about the confusion there. That rain delay kind of messed me up. Downward facing dog. And just walk your feet up to the center of your mat. Come into standing. We're going to do some balance now. Take and ground first into your right foot. Get the four corners of that right foot grounded in. Kickstand your left heel against your right leg and come into tree. Now you want to place the sole of your left foot against your calf. If you're able to get the heel up into your groin and pull that high, go ahead, but don't rest your upper foot alongside your knee. Not good. Don't push your knee in or out. Keep it straight. Come back down. Ground into your left foot. Kickstand the right. Bring your right foot up along your left leg. Low or high, but not in the middle. Bring your right knee out to the side. Come into ground both your feet into the ground. Let's start with your right foot. Ground your right foot into the ground. Kickstand your left heel into your left leg, and just come into tree. Bring the sole of your left foot up along your right leg. You can bring your heel into your groin and the knee out perpendicular along the calf, but don't put it alongside the leg. You're going to wobble, find a focus point. And both feet on the ground, walk it out. Ground into your left foot. All four corners, get them in there. Kickstand your right foot. And bring the sole of your right foot to the same location as was your left. Get the right knee out perpendicular. Find that focus point. Place your hands at a spot that gives you a center or a balance. If you fall out of it, go ahead and come back in. And both feet down. Ground into the right again. Just bring your left foot out in front of you just a little bit. Engage your right hip. Spine straight. And come back down. Ground into your left foot. And bring your right foot out in front of you about a foot or so. Find that focal point. Whoa. My left is off today. And both feet down. Come down to your mat, please. If you're able, sit back into your heels. Come back up into your knees. Sit back into your heels. As low as you're able. Come back up. Again, if you're feeling pain, don't do it. Sit back. And come down to a low plank position. Come into low plank. Get everything in alignment. Head, neck, spine, glutes. Don't stick your bum up in the air. Don't drop your pelvis to the floor. Get everything in alignment and engaged. Tighten up that core. Tighten up the glutes. Roll onto your left elbow. Right hand on your right hip. And raise your hips. The whole idea of the side plank is to work those obliques, but to do that, you need to focus on your hips. Back against that proverbial back wall. Bring your arm up in the air. Hips up, focus on the hips. Come back into plank. Get everything in alignment. Roll onto your right side. Get the hips up, get the arm in the air. Come back into plank and to the ground. Now, as I said in the start, if you grab that foam roller, a block, a pillow from your couch, whatever you have available, get whatever that object is out in front of you. Doesn't have to be very heavy. In some cases it shouldn't be that heavy. Bring your forehead to the mat. Point your toes back and away from you. And grab whatever that object is. And grab the sides of your object. Arms straight out in front of you. Thumbs pointed to the ceiling. And raise your arms up straight in front of you. Get that object off the ground. If you're not able to raise the object, focus on squeezing it together. Push, 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 and release. For most,
individuals at first are not able to raise the object. So let's pretend you're not. We're just going to keep the object on the ground and push it together. Push, engage the shoulder blades, push that object together, squeeze that block or whatever it is, squeeze, squeeze, forehead's on the ground, release. One more time, push, push, squeeze, bring the blades together, release. If you're able to lift, one more time, ready, lift, 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 and down. Push that object away, arms out in front of you. Take a breath. Raise your left leg off the ground. Raise your right arm off the ground. And down. Right leg off the ground. Left arm off the ground. Engage the glutes. Push your toes away from your fingers. And down. Again, left leg, right arm, left arm, right leg, legs and arms are up, forehead's on the ground. Bring your arms back to cactus. Head and neck, everything's up. Legs, arms and cactus, chest's off the ground, head and neck. Look down at your mat, get your neck in alignment. Arms out to a T. Arms behind you. And down. Turn your right ear to the mat. Left ear to the mat. Forehead on the mat. One last time. Come into Superman. Everything's up. Arms are parallel alongside your torso. Engage the glutes. Arms out in front of you. And come on down. Come back up into seated. Bring your left leg out in front of you. Sole against your inner thigh. Bring that heel up as close to your body as you're able. And twist off to the left. Twist off to the right. Come and lean now over your left leg that's straight. Switch, bring your right leg out in front of you. Left heel into your groin. Twist off to the right. Twist off to the left. Lean out over your right leg. Bring your right foot in. Bring the soles of your feet together. Bring both heels in as close to your body as you're able. Push down on your knees slightly and just lean forward. Don't curl into it. Straight back, straight spine. Bring your chest out. Pretend like you're bringing your chest down to your toes, not your head. Come back up. One more time, chest out. Come back up. Come back into a comfortable seated position. I hope you enjoyed this practice today. Sorry about the rain delay. I hope you found it a good workout, and I hope you have a great day. I am Kurt Bowman, and this is Yoga for Old Guys. Namaste.